Okay, we are officially at day 2 of the redraft. There's a lot more picks to go over now since yesterday. Yesterday I was kind of just looking at people's openers and there wasn't really much to critique there. But now we certainly have more, could you say, people are starting to like build their structures and we can get a better idea of where the drafts are going. First things first, to address the elephant in the room, both of the Snorlax drafts have opted for D-Knight Regirock. I don't know if this is a play to spite me, or if they hate me, or something in the middle there. I can't stand this D-Knight Pokemon, and now it's on a Lax draft, meaning it's going to do better. So I guess this will help me fill out the D-Knight hate doc, hopefully. I do want to see George do well. Free Day, he can do well as well, but I'm less interested in that. No shade. But, hopefully the D-Knight still gets hit by Ice Beam and Rock Slide. That would make my week, my month, my year, etc. Something I didn't really know. We always see the Lax Gara Regirock 1-2-3 combo, and that does well. Something I didn't realize is that Lax Dragonite has 60, like a similar win rate to Lax Gara, which surprised me a lot, really. I did not think that D-Knight would be like as good of a replacement, especially because that guy takes hella damage from like CB low kick, which is something you have to be afraid of on Lax drafts due to being fighter weak. Especially if you grab Regirock or Regice, like a lot of people have. So yeah, not much to really talk about there. Both Fride and George have gone for Lax D-Knight Regirock. We'll see if they continue to copy each other's builds, or if eventually they sort of fork off into two different builds. Next, Swigus's draft. Meta Gara Jolt Blastoise. I don't think this was the intention, but it really does feel like Swigus is like trying to screw over the Lax player, because you got Gara, who's obviously an excellent partner to Lax, and then on the next round through you got Blastoise, which is something you would want in this situation, because all the good spinners are really... Actually, I would almost argue that, well, yes, having the water type to help with like Metagross and stuff is nice. I think Donphan is perfectly acceptable on a Lax draft, so I would expect to maybe see George pick that up, but also he drafts very uniquely, and I rarely am able to predict what he grabs, so I don't know, maybe he'll grab a Zam and like an Umbreon like last time. Yeah, Meta Gara Jolt Blastoise. It's weird. These are like strong partners. The double water is a bit odd to me. I mean, you do have Jolteon to cover up your electric weakness, but I feel like Swigus needs to take another way to deal with electric types, since they currently mow through his team outside of Jolteon. I just don't think Jolteon can like harbor that duty of being an electric check on its own. It needs some help with that. JBL, who I last time thought was going to just grab Hariyama and Vaporeon, the two sort of big Zapdos duo mons, ended up getting Milo Regice Hariyama. It's funny. Like 4th round Hariyama kind of feels illegal. This guy should be going late 3rd round in my opinion. The fact that it wrapped around all the way back to the Zap player is just completely insane. I just cannot believe he actually got that. I would give this guy some good odds to make a good run in the top 16 bracket for sure. I really like this so far. Definitely need to get a spinner though on the way back. I would say, based on what's left, I would guess that he's hoping that Donphan's up, or I mean, Armaldo's also pretty serviceable, and that also gives you a normal resist, so that's also reasonable. I wouldn't mind that either. Either of those pretty good, especially because you have such good answers to water types on your team. and so that water weakness kind of isn't super important. That'd be my prediction for his 5th pick. Really solid build, definitely one of the better ones so far. In stark contrast to that, we have Lafone. Lafone? I'm gonna pronounce it like that. I'm sorry if that's wrong. Raikou, it's pretty good Pokemon. Pert on 2 is really weird. Apparently they have a good, like, duo win rate, but I'm not a big Pert fan. And then we grab Zard, and I've talked about this a lot in multiple different Discords, but like, I still think there's not really a good reason to grab Charizard in the current meta when Entei and Arcanine and Typhlosion all do very similar things for very similar prices. Or for lower prices, I mean. So, like, you save 3 points from going to Zard to Arcanine, and I think that's absolutely worth it. The few things that Zard does that's unique to it compared to these other fires, which would be like Declaw, being Spike Immune, and Belly Drum. Those are just what I can name off the top of my head. There might be more. Yeah, I just don't think that's worth the extra, like, 3+ points that you're putting into it. And you'd rather just invest in one of your lower slots. And then you grab Smeargle, which I guess I can understand. Smeargle's, like, fine. I assume it's going to be a spiker here, no, like, weird stat pass cheese or whatever. I assume it's just going to be here to click spikes, because spikes looks really strong with this build. I remember in the Discord they were really disappointed to see River take Glalie, because they really wanted the Glalie spiker, which I don't blame them. Speaking of River, Targar Arrow Glalie is like stupid good. Yeah, this is just like an OU structure. This is like rock spam with Gengar. Rock spam spikes offense with like Gengar spin blocker. This is just like an OU structure. Definitely gonna need to sort of tie up those loose ends being the weaknesses of this team, since currently no water resist, no electric resist, Glalie is like half an ice resist. Not Glalie is a full ice resist. That guy can like eat neutral like surfs and ice beams. It's like an acceptable defensive mon. Yeah, definitely needs to deal with the water and the electric types, and no rock resist either. Definitely needs one of those. But this like starting offensive core is great. And one of the things in draft for sure is that you can very easily patch up some of your defensive weaknesses with strong mid tiers and low tiers. That's why I think, other than certain exceptions, I think a lot of your defensive core you can kind of wait until the end. Obviously there's some things that are pretty irreplaceable, like Bliss, although, I mean, Chansey kind of is a good replacement. Chansey's all around a good option as well. That was a bad example. Skarmory, yes, okay. Skarmory is a better example. You're not going to get the defensive value you get from this thing, like the Quake immunity and like pretty much full walling every physical attacker in the game. Or not walling, but checking. Like, that's something that's not really replaceable, and if it is, you're going to need like 2 low tier slots for that. Which is fine, I think, in most of the case, but either way, really strong start. I would definitely, depending upon how the rest of the draft goes, I would give River good odds to do well in this tournament. Assuming the luck lets her perform. We've seen some unfortunate games in past redrafts. Next we get to Raska's draft, which I think is super weird. I was talking about how Starmie Registeel was a bit odd as an opener yesterday, and I still think it's weird, but I don't hate it as much after like thinking about it a bit more. Then you grab Moltres, which is fine. You kind of have defensive partners that help it succeed. I don't hate the Moltres. But then grabbing Cloyster seems really weird to me. especially because 1, Glalie was up, and 2, you already have a spinner, and it's also a water type. So right now, this whole team just kind of like loses to T-Bolt. And obviously Registeel's a great mixed wall to like eat those neutral hits like T-Bolt, but still, you can't just expect it to deal with all of that without any help, especially when the rest of your team like can't switch in. And so you can get situations where like, I guess a perfect example of where this team would struggle is like Roar Zap. Every time Registeel tries to enter, you just get roared out, and then you take a bunch of spikes chip if they have spikes. Especially like Rest Roar Zap. That seems really scary for this team. Yeah, I don't really understand the Cloister, because like, if you wanted spikes, why not grab Glalie, and you already have Spin with Starmie. I get freeing up Spin on Starmie by having the Cloister, but realistically, for longer games, you're going to want Spin on Starmie anyways, because you can recover, where Cloister is going to want to boom to make progress, and then you don't have the hazard control anymore. So I don't like the direction this draft is going, but I think there's definitely some room to sort of clean this up near the end. Kind of just depends on what's up, so I'll have to check back on Rasko's draft tomorrow to see if he's picked some things to justify the Trace Cloister here. Next up, Clerd, Celebi, Mence, Vap, Fori. Just like really strong, bulky offense core here. I really like this. I know we shit talk Fortress a lot because like oftentimes it'll get a spike down and then die to random HP fire. And to be fair, that does happen more than it should. And so Fori has been less and less of a it's been seen as like less and less as a good pick in the current sort of draft meta. And you can't even use it as a normal resist sometimes, because a lot of the normals, especially Kanto normals, are going to have Fire Blast. And obviously their special attacks aren't going to be great, so you can live 1, but still, that's not really going to help your case here. But outside of that, you have like excellent partners. The one thing I talked about yesterday is Celebi Mence is obviously very Ice Weak, and we've picked up 2 great Mons to deal with that. So I really like this start. Definitely really strong. And having 30 points left to round out this draft, you can kind of get whatever you want. I would maybe think a Speed Mon, like an Espeon or a Zam, or I think Tauros is... Or, no, Tauros is still up. Yeah, I think you want a Speedster. Any one of those like upper tier Speedsters, like yeah, Zam, Espeon, Tauros, Sceptile are all exceptional. Crobat is definitely would be a massive downgrade, but I would be fine with that if you want to spend your resources elsewhere. But yeah, pretty good. And then we have BD, the Scar and Bliss guy, has taken Claydol Heracross, which I'm pretty sure is exactly what he used in the main season. Yeah, he had Skarm, Doll, Hera, and now he has a Bliss over Raikou. So yeah, clearly this is something he's comfortable with and something he does well with, and it is notably, I mean, Skarm Bliss Doll is like a pretty good defensive, has really good defensive profiling, especially in like OU, and so in draft it translates fairly well. And also, now you have Heracross as like a breaker. I haven't watched too many replays, so I'm not like 200% sure on how the team functions, but I think this is a good start, especially because he's seen lots of success. Let me check second video where I'm checking BD's profile because I don't remember what's on these drafts. Yeah, so V3 he drafted Skarm Bliss Doll, Heracross, and went 5-2. So yeah, this is like kind of quickly becoming his thing. Yeah, and in Redraft he drafted Skarm Bliss Heracross. This is definitely his comfort. So I'm not like someone who would draft something like this, but seeing how he has success with it, I would say it's pretty good. Moving on to Pool 2. Kind of already talked about Friday's draft. It's another, just like George's, it's Lax D-Knight Regirock. It is his pick on the wheel, and technically any second now we could be getting the picks in. So if we do get that live, I guess I'll go over that. Next, Aeonfa did exactly as I had expected him to. Went for the Zapvap Hariyama, and then ended up picking up Glalie. Super strong opener here. Really like this, and it's something that he's shown he can perform with as well in other tours. So yeah, this is like, this is really good. That is Scraf being on his 5th slot. That scares me a little bit. I'm expecting Hypno to join the ranks of Aeonfa's draft fairly soon, if not this round, round 6, but I doubt he's gonna I doubt he's gonna let it roll through the next 2 rounds, because I have a good feeling it's gonna be taken, and I think he knows that. Next, Geronis, Tar, Registeel, Dugtrio, Weezing. I really liked the first 3 picks. I think the Weezing's a little bit of a pace oh my god, speaking's hard. Mismatch. Pace mismatch. Obviously your whole team right now loses to fighters, so you want the best fighter resist there is, which is Weezing. I would argue maybe that other Mons might be better here, like Slowbro. Slowbro is a fighting check that also doubles as one you can't get bulked up on. Obviously Weezing has like Haze, so it can deal with bulk up mods, but what I'm more saying is that Slowbro has like offensive pressure with lots of coverage moves and stab psychic and CM, where Weezing really has less of that. So I think I would have maybe preferred to see Slowbro in the slot, but depending upon where this draft starts going, maybe Geronis is trying to make a lower tempo draft, which depending upon the next couple of picks could justify this. But I think the Weezing is definitely like an overreaction to being fighter weak like this. But Weezing's not a bad mon by any means. I just think it's definitely not the best in slot here. But clearly, with a lot of these things, it's hard to tell until the draft's over. And maybe they've got a big plan that justifies everything, so we'll see. Next, Canucks. Canucks got everything that he ever could have wanted. Got the meta Milo Regice. Even though he went meta Regice first, he ended up still getting Milo somehow, which is insane to me that it made it back to him. I thought we would see like Zap Milo or Lax Milo is less common, but I still feel like you maybe take it depending upon the spot. Yeah, he ends up getting the Metagross Regice Milotic. I know people in the Discord today were talking about how this is like a Theory Moner's wet dream, and then like you actually play it and it doesn't do anything. So, you know, maybe that's what's going to happen. I personally believe in it a lot more than some people. And then grabbing the Entei afterwards is really strong. I really like these first 4. I think you definitely need to find a spinner. I guess maybe there's an argument that maybe you should have taken Blastoise and forgotten the Milotic, but Milotic is so strong that how could you give it up when you've just been handed it round 3? So I get that. Yeah. Oh man, I would almost say Claydol is almost good here. That sounds wrong. Like, Claydol's never supposed to be good, but your team's fully grounded, so you need a spinner, and you need, like, an EQ check, and Claydol kind of does both of those. So maybe we could see an angle like that. Arguably Fori is fine because you have excellent. You have like the best fire check in the game, Melodic. And you could maybe double water and get Blastoise. Or you could go spinnerless. I think you definitely want to have a spinner though on Regice Milo. The team's not fast enough to be able to win the game before spikes start really taking their toll on the team. So I would like to maybe see a spinner sometime in here. Or maybe commit more to the offensive side of the draft. Next, Among Us Blaster has Raikou, Starmie, Machamp, Gyarados. This is just kind of like a mishmash of strong offense mons, which I think can work really well. This is weird. You do sometimes see these Raikou Machamp teams, and Raikou Gyara is also strong. It's kind of just like it's just four strong offense mons on a team. It's a little Bolt weak. I know you have Raikou, which is like really good into electric types, but obviously you don't want it eating those forever because eventually you're gonna get parried. I guess maybe it's just kind of special week in general. No, it's not really water weak. You have Starmie Gyara. And you have Machamp to deal with like Blissey trying to do Bolt Beam stuff too. Yeah, I guess I'd like to maybe see more bulk on it though, especially on the special side, because well, Raikou's great at like these bulkier CM builds. Sometimes you do want a secondary answer so that you don't have to rely on it completely. This could be a lot of things. I can't think of any though. I don't really know what you want here. Maybe you... I gotta think about this a bit. Maybe a better way to deal with... No, you got Machamp. I'll come back to this, because I had an idea and then I kind of forgot it. But yeah, so it's like pretty solid, but like I can't, there's something that's like right there, and I just can't think of it that it's like really bad into. Okay, I guess the main thing here is that you're really reliant on this Machamp to deal with blobs, which is fine. That's its job, but I think you maybe want another. Oh, you have Gyarados. Maybe it is fine. I might be overreacting. It just looks weird. Yeah, I think this is fine. What isn't fine is Astoria's Blissey, Gengar, Jolteon, Tauros draft. I have no fucking clue what's going on here. This is like... This kind of looks like a mess. It sounds like there's some... he's been saying that there's like there's a plan behind this, but right now it looks super unplayable. So you have like 3 Mons over base 100, and they're all just like fast glass cannons. And then you have Blissey, and the whole team just like loses Sitar on lead, more or less. It has like no physical bulk and is completely reliant on like Intimidate at the moment. And one of the things okay, so the 2 things this needs, a bulky water to help deal with Metagross and a rock resist. Things that are left that can do this. Flygon. Oh, there's so many bulky waters. Oh, it's also pretty Spikes weak. So Blastoise is probably what he's going to be looking for, assuming that comes back to him, but I would bet money that someone grabs it, if not just Friday or Geronis. That would be great roll compression. So this team is super Spikes weak, especially with Blissey. Maybe you. This is another time where maybe you have to grab Fori, because you also need a normal resist on this draft. Maybe it's Claydol because you need a rock resist. Okay. Side tangent. I'm noticing that all the drafts that are like have super poor openings here, like first 4 Mons, seem to always need Claydol and Fortress, and these guys suck. And so your punishment for drafting poorly is being forced to use them to like, because of their roll compression. This is my new theory. Your punishment for drafting poorly is being forced to use these spinners. Yeah. I don't like these first 4. I think you have to do too much coping in the next couple rounds of the draft to like make this work. I unironically think you need Fortress here because the team wants spikes to help its like super fast glass cannon game plan, but the team also wants spin so it doesn't just like lose those spikes on lead. So yeah, maybe it's Fori. We'll have to see tomorrow how this draft turns out. I do not. I can't say I have high hopes for this, though. What I do have high hopes for is Vaz's draft. Aerobee, Swampert, Cloyster. I'm not a super big fan of the Pert here, especially because you're going to grab Cloyster. I'm also not sure if there's a reason we grabbed Cloyster over like Glalie, which was also up. I definitely think we could have taken a better course of these picks here. I think Glalie plus... oh my god, my Logic was up. No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. I'm tripping. No. My Logic was not up. I'm screwing up the order here. Gyara was up. Gyara would have been fine. I've used Gyara Arrow Celebi before. It's perfectly reasonable. But I guess Pert's not that bad. Pert has its merits. It's like one of the few good rock resists in the tier. I'll begrudgingly say it's an okay Pert angle, and the Cloyster, the double water is a little weird. That's all I'll say. But having spikes and Aerobee is really good. So I think this is a great start to this draft. Finally, now, Skarm, Mence, Zam, Donphan is just super good. Really strong Spikes offense draft here. You have Mence and Zam, which can just tear through teams, and you have Donphan to deal with the rock weakness and help spin. I think another thing I've said before is spinners are really good when they don't have to try to spin. Donphan is at its worst when its role is getting rid of the spikes off the field. It would rather just spam Quake into the enemy team. I really think that these defensive Donphan sets are pretty poor, and I really like offensive sets more, and I think this thing needs to be utilized more offensively. And I think on a draft like this it definitely can, depending upon the matchup. Yeah, not much else to say about that. Just really good first couple picks there. Maybe a little Starmie week, a little water week, I mean. Maybe want a way to get through those bulky waters, whether that be an electric or... I mean, okay, to an extent Zam is good at that, but I still think you want more. Something notable, actually, for the entire pool is that Miltank is still up, and Miltank's, like, really good. A lot of these drafts could definitely just be okay with slotting in Miltanks, it's so strong. The problem is, it's 14 points, and everyone's kind of on their last. Everyone's at 33 or below, other than Friede, who has to make 2 picks. So maybe this is kind of sad, but there's a non-zero chance we will see Miltank go undrafted in this pool, along with Charizard, which that's less sad, but that's kind of to be expected. That guy blows. But Miltank undrafted would be super crazy and unprecedented for redrafts, as far as I'm aware. Wait, Milton's undrafted in both pools. What are we doing? Guys, come on. This guy's, like, super good. We can't just forget about him because he's not lax or whatever. I don't know why we're forgetting about him. He fits on so many of these drafts. He could fit on the Swiggus draft. I don't really think you want Lax and Cow on the same team, but they can definitely be serviceable together. It would fit on JBL. This draft, we've seen Zap Cow teams do well. I could see it fitting on Clerd's draft. I could see it, well, I don't think it's what Raska needs. Raska needs help. I don't think Miltank is the help that's gonna really be there. I don't think BD wants it either. So maybe, oh man, that's crazy. Maybe we will see Miltank undrafted up here. Oh, that feels so wrong. Surely someone takes it. Someone took Zard. Someone will surely take Cow. Down here, I could see Canucks taking it. Aonfa could take it. I mean, unless Jeronis really wants to super justify the Weezing pick, I don't think he's going to take it. I don't think that's going to fit there. Oh, actually, it fits super perfectly on Among Us Blasters team. Honestly, I think it's really good here. And it could fit well on Dal's team as well, if he so pleases. Yeah, that's going to be the state of the drafts as of day 2. Lots of interesting and new things showing up, and lots of interesting and new things that I don't like showing up, but maybe we'll see some of those drafts that I haven't been rating too highly. Maybe we'll see something that... Yeah, maybe we'll see something truly spectacular. These drafts will turn into something no one's seen before, and hopefully they'll do well. That'd be fun. But thank you again for watching, and I'll be back tomorrow.